In Attack of the Clones, Mace Windu kills the notorious bounty hunter Jango Fett. Jango was respected as one of the greatest bounty hunters of the era, and his involvement in the Clone Wars would have been profound if he wasn't killed. So let's explore just that. What if Jango Fett survived? In the original timeline, his jetpack was damaged after he was trampled by the Reek. This meant when Windu advanced upon him, he couldn't escape and he was killed. George Lucas has said that the spinning move that Windu did when he decapitated Fett was actually a move intended to block the blaster bolt that the Jedi Master had intended Jango to fire when he flew into the air. But obviously his jetpack was destroyed, and so Windu's saber cut straight through his neck. In this alternate scenario, let's say Jango Fett's jetpack wasn't damaged and he flew away just in time, joining back with Count Dooku. Only moments later, the clone army would arrive and Jango would take Boba as they exit the planet, knowing that they didn't want to be caught in an all-out war against the Jedi. From here, Jango would likely just continue life as usual. With the beginning of the Clone Wars, there would be many new jobs opening up and he would constantly be hired. His survival only intensified his reputation as a legendary figure in the criminal underworld, having survived a duel with the notorious Mace Windu, as well as killing many Jedi on Geonosis. For a bounty hunter, this feat was unheard of. His proficiency in combat, tactical brilliance, and sheer results placed him as one of the most sought after bounty hunters in the galaxy. Jango Fett surviving is very important, as he is the genetic template for the clone army. This makes him a crucial figure for Kamino, the Separatists, and even the Jedi. Obi-Wan found out that it was Jango who was used to create the clone army during his time on Kamino. The original DNA is extremely valuable. All of the clones are connected, and if Jango's DNA got into the wrong hands, there was a chance it could be engineered to find a weakness in the clone army. After Jango's survival, his son Boba would stay with him as they traveled throughout the galaxy. Under Jango's guidance, Boba accompanied him on numerous missions, immersing himself in the intricate world of bounty hunting. The young Boba observed and practiced, growing his skills. Each mission served as a formative experience and built up his network as he met high-profile bounty hunters such as Aura Singh and IG-88. Boba was only 12 years old, so he became an assistant bounty hunter to his father. Jango would continue to collaborate with other bounty hunters as they earned profits. He was hired alongside Cad Bane and Bossk to eliminate Senator Goom Sum, known for advocating anti-criminal legislation within the Galactic Senate. Goom Sam proposed policies threatened to disrupt the delicate balance of power between the crime syndicates and the corrupt officials who profited from their underworld dealings. The assassination attempt was meticulously planned, with Jango orchestrating the diversion while Cad Bane hacked into the security systems, disabling alarms and surveillance. Bossk scouted the perimeter, eliminating any guards who posed a threat to their mission. As the trio closed in on their target, they encountered unexpected obstacles, facing elite bodyguards trained to protect the senator at all costs. Jango's precision marksmanship and combat skills, combined with Cad Bane's quick thinking and Bosk's brute force, turned the tide in their favor. In a swift and deadly confrontation, they eliminated the senator, making their escape before reinforcements arrived. Missions such as this earned Jango a delightful bounty and made him even more respected. Locating an opportunity for immense profits, Jango would align himself with the Separatists during the Clone Wars. His skills made him an indispensable asset. Jango undertook numerous top-secret missions for the Separatists, leveraging his expertise to execute high-profile assignments with ruthless efficiency. From targeted eliminations of key Republic figures to disrupting crucial supply lines and orchestrating tactical diversions, his work significantly contributed to the Separatist successes. As for Sidious, he would recognize the potential in Jango Fett and often hire him throughout the Clone Wars. There was no other bounty hunter like him who could kill Jedi as proficiently as him. He was an expert. During his career, he had murdered dozens of Jedi, including some only with his bare hands. Sidious used this to his advantage. When Sidious deemed it necessary for the Separatists to gain an advantage and win a key victory, Jango was dispatched to eliminate a key Jedi commander and ruin operations for the Republic. However, with Sidious dictating the outcome of the war behind the scenes, sometimes he needed the Republic to win. In such instances, Jango would masquerade himself as a clone trooper to infiltrate and subtly manipulate battles. These deceptive maneuvers not only bolstered the Republic's successes, but also ensured Sidious's continued position as the Supreme Chancellor. At this point, we are only a couple of years into the Clone Wars, and Jango has been very successful. Palpatine has begun to increase his level of manipulation upon Anakin. He is orchestrating events to display the dogmatic views of the Jedi and present the idea that their ideology is not the only course of action. But Palpatine decided that this wasn't enough. He needed to do something in order to catapult Anakin's feelings. As for now, they haven't harnessed the dark side as much as he would have wanted. He decides to hire Jango Fett for yet another mission. But this one was very risky and dangerous. His goal was to kill Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin's closest friend. The reward for this was an extremely high bounty. Jango obviously accepts and begins to plan the operation. He has an obvious advantage compared to other bounty hunters during the Clone Wars. The fact that he can disguise himself as any clone trooper in the galaxy. Jango infiltrates the ranks of Obi-Wan's 212th Attack Battalion during their crucial campaign on Ryloth. Disguised flawlessly as Clone Trooper Boyle amidst the chaos of the battle. As the intensity of the conflict reached its peak and the battlefield echoed with the sounds of blaster fire, Jango maneuvered himself into a position where he found himself alone with Obi-Wan, who was completely unaware of his true identity. Seizing this moment of vulnerability, when Kenobi's attention was momentarily diverted, Jango swiftly drew his blaster and Obi-Wan fell silently to the floor, dead. Jango would immediately flee the scene, ensuring that no one knew it was him. He contacted Sidious and informed him of Kenobi's death. Sidious was extremely surprised. He didn't actually think that Jango would succeed, and from here on out, he began to hold the bounty hunter in higher esteem. The death of Kenobi at the hands of Jango would cause major repercussions. As the news reached Coruscant, his apprentice Anakin was absolutely distraught. He hadn't felt this level of pain since the death of his mother. Anakin let his rage reach the surface as he used the Force and his lightsaber to destroy everything in his apartment. He didn't know what to do. He needed answers. He needed to know who killed his master. He had promised his mother that he wouldn't fail to save those he cared about again, but now he's broken that promise too. Anakin was inconsolable, but he needed to speak to someone. He goes to his close personal friend, Chancellor Palpatine, for guidance. Anakin has always been able to talk to Palpatine, as he didn't need to filter what he was saying. Palpatine told him to embrace his emotions. Keeping them buried inside is not the correct path. In this moment, Palpatine would essentially coach Anakin to the dark side by subtly going against the Jedi teachings. He would tell Anakin to allow his rage and anger to fuel him so that he becomes more powerful. The Chancellor would draw on Anakin's deepest insecurities, knowing of his relationship with Padme. He would mention how he needs to get stronger so that other people close to him are able to live. Although he didn't outright mention Padme, he said everything so explicitly that Anakin would only be thinking about his wife and keeping her safe. Palpatine was shocked how much Obi-Wan's death affected Anakin, and knew he was beginning to get inside Anakin's head. After Obi-Wan's death, Anakin was never the same. Everyone around him knew it. He continued to go on missions with his apprentice Ahsoka Tano, but when they were called back to the temple to investigate a bombing, Anakin's life altered for the worse. Ahsoka was framed for the bombing of the Jedi Temple and left the Jedi Order. Every day, Anakin was spiraling deeper into his own turmoil. He couldn't take this any longer. As we get into Revenge of the Sith, Anakin begins to have dreams of Padme dying in childbirth. This was his final straw. Anakin went even crazier than he did in the original timeline, because if he lost Padme, he would have no one. The events would follow suit. Anakin joins Palpatine when he reveals himself as the Sith Lord. Sidious's plan had worked, but now they must ensure the extinction of the Jedi Order. It is time for the execution of Order 66. Sidious has Jango moved into Coruscant, awaiting the beginning of this order. He knows that Jango has proved himself and has essentially become a specialized Jedi killer. So his experience during Order 66 could be vital to its success. Anakin and Jango Fett lead the clones into the Jedi Temple as they begin a massacre. Chaos erupted as blaster bolts shrieked throughout the air. The Jedi, caught off guard by the sudden and shocking assault, fought as best as they could to defend themselves. But as Anakin and Jango entered the halls, they didn't stand a chance. Anakin moved on the ground, swinging his sapphire blade with precision as he cut down thousands of Jedi. But Jango operated in the skies with his jetpack, using his incredible marksmanship to kill hundreds of Jedi. Jango's armor was made of Beskar, allowing him to withstand strikes from the Jedi, leading to his survival. He was revered as one of the greatest unarmed combatants in the galaxy, so he would use his grapple to disarm the Jedi before taking them on in one-to-one combat. Desperate clashes between the Jedi and the clones ensued, as screams of anguish echoed against the stone walls and the temple began to collapse. Jango would meet up with Anakin in the Great Hall, where they would join forces to fight the more powerful and advanced Jedi Masters, such as Plo Koon and Mace Windu, both extremely powerful Force users, but with the combination of Anakin, Jango, and surrounding clones, they stood no chance. The Order fell that night, with there being 0 survivors. The dark side had won, the Jedi were defeated. What followed was the creation of the Galactic Empire, with Chancellor Palpatine becoming the Emperor. Jango Fett's pivotal role in the destruction of the Jedi Order earned him one of the highest positions in the Empire. He was officially appointed as Sidious's personal enforcer and trusted bounty hunter. He operated at the Emperor's wishes, executing missions that were personally assigned, and often off the books. In some cases, Jango would be paired with Lord Vader for missions, spreading absolute tyranny into their adversaries. The fear of Jango Fett was different compared to Vader. Vader was like a myth, his power too good to be true. But Jango you knew was real, and that he always completed his mission. If you were targeted by him, there was a 0% chance of survival. As the years passed, Boba Fett matured into a formidable bounty hunter in his own right. He followed in his father's footsteps, gaining experience and respect across the galaxy as one of the deadliest bounty hunters around. Boba chose to align himself with the Empire, joining forces with Jango as they completed jobs together like they had his entire life. Together, the Fett legacy became known across the entire galaxy. They were so revered that people were afraid to speak their names, similar to the atmosphere around Sidious and Vader. As the Empire grew so large and unstoppable, their power only increased. Jango Fett became respected as the greatest bounty hunter of all time, and no one could ever dispute this claim. If you enjoyed today's video, you must watch What If Anakin and Vader Were Different People, and What If Anakin Reached His Full Potential. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of today's video, and how you think it would have differed. Thank you all for watching, I really hope you enjoyed it, and may the Force be with you.